My name is Michael Tiernan. I've been, for the past 22 plus or minus years, have called myself a professional and performing singer-songwriter. Kind of a crazy path that I took to get there, twists and turns, but I can tell you that I'm up here today with this guitar doing what I do because of the healing power of music. And not just music itself, but that one song. You guys probably have that one song that you can think back to that just hit you at the right time. I'll take you back to when I was 17 years old. I was sitting in an empty church, almost empty church, kind of late afternoon light. I did not want to be there. I was on a retreat that my parents made me go on. Didn't want to be there. I had just battled for my life at 16. And so I had my health, but my heart was heavy, just with all these existential questions, dealing with them as a 17-year-old, the meaning of life, why suffering, why do good people suffer, just meaning, it was heavy with that. And that's when this song found me. It was one guy, one voice, and one guitar in this empty space, and something just broke open inside of me. It's the only way I can describe it. That a light started to kind of poke through, and I started to galvanize a hope, a sense of hope and a sense of meaning from what I'd been through. And so from that moment on, music kind of became the catalyst for my own healing of the trauma that I had been experiencing. And I left that experience also saying, I want to do what that guy just did with his guitar. And so, long story short, that's what I did. I taught myself guitar. I started trying to write, going through college and studying philosophy and theology. At one point, I was almost an ordained Catholic priest studying at the Vatican in Rome. Did not take that path all the way, as you can tell right now. And I landed squarely kind of in this calling of artist and songwriter. And so for many years, I wrote songs about my own experiences, my own epiphanies, my own struggles, my own just lessons that I had been learning, and then sharing them with whoever would listen. So a lot of albums about my stuff, right? About 5 years ago, that all changed. And it was, again, an unexpected meeting of a person whose story just blew my mind and opened my heart once again. And from the moment I heard his story, I was like, I want to start writing songs about other people's healing journeys. This man's name was Azim Khamisa. He's an international speaker and author, but his story, if you can imagine, as a dad of a 20-year-old college student at the time, this was many years ago, his son Tariq was murdered senselessly while delivering pizza by a 14-year-old gang member initiation that went awry. And you can imagine this dad losing his only son to such senseless violence. And so Azim went through a deep journey, as you can imagine, of suffering, but he was a very spiritual person, and he took that into meditation, and he worked, and he worked, and he worked, and he came up with the intuition that there were victims on both sides of the gun, and that he could not move forward, his family couldn't move forward, and society at large could not move forward if he didn't come to a place of forgiveness for the murderer of his son. That boy's name was Tony Hicks. He was tried as an adult, 14 years old, sent to adult prison, spent 25 years there. In the meantime, Azim started a foundation with the grandfather of Tony to speak to at-risk youth, giving them tools of nonviolence and forgiveness. They've spoken to tens of thousands of students all across the world. 30 years later, Tony is out of jail. Azim has become a father figure to him, and Tony has dedicated his life to speaking to youth about the power of forgiveness and healing that came through that. So I had to write a song about that. And in doing that, I realized I wanted to keep writing songs about other people's healing journey, and so I've sat with parents whose kids have committed suicide, parents who have lost kids in accidents, and listening. You talked about, Dr. Michael talked about just being there to listen. And so to listen with music and to write a song and help people through and figure out that sense that comes from senselessness, you know. So I'm going to share with you that first song I wrote for Azim. The coroner told him after his son passed away that the bullet took a perfect path that took his son's life. How crazy is that? Those 3 words, a perfect path for something so violent, so absurd. It entered in through his chest, hit all his vital organs, and exited back outside the other side of his chest. And luckily that wasn't the final word, the perfect path, because Azim had the last word on his perfect path is one of forgiveness and healing. So I'd like to share that song with you.
Doctor called it the perfect path. The way the bullet tore right through your chest took away the air we both breathe, ripped open the heart I'm now grieving, and I need you to know how I'm missing you so. What a strange choice of words. The perfect path for something so absurd. I'm left searching for meaning. I search my heart and I need help to see it, and I need you to show me something better. On both sides of the gun, show me somebody who is one. If the cycle gets repeated, nothing's given that is needed. Is it beyond our grasp? Show us the perfect path. Prophets and sages have walked that path, but can it twist and turn from the depths of such despair? Pull me out of my darkest hour. I'm bathed in light and I'm bathed in power, and God has shown me something better. On both sides of the gun, show me somebody who is one. If the cycle gets repeated, nothing's given that is needed. Is it beyond our grasp? Show us the perfect path. Ooh. Forgiveness, 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 forgiveness. Forgiveness, oh. In the shade of the olive tree, forgiveness creates a space where your enemies can become your family. and redemption comes for the other one. On both sides of the gun, show me somebody who is one. If the cycle gets repeated, we're all hurting, we're all bleeding. Is it beyond our grasp? Show us the perfect path. Is it beyond our grasp? Show us the perfect path. Ooh.
Thank you, everybody.